Awesome. Okay, let me get my questions up. All right. So on History Talk, I have Dan Cummins from Timesuck podcast joining me, and I'm very excited about this. I'm a huge fan, so this is awesome. How are you, Dan?
I'm good. We're always busy, but we got a good team here, and it's been for a crazy year, we've had a good year. So I feel very grateful.
Great, awesome. So for the uninitiated to the cult of the curious, how would you describe Timesuck?
Timesuck is, the longer it goes, the harder it gets to harder it is to describe. But it's just kind of a constant exploration just about the world around us. I mean, it's true crime, it's cults, it's historical figures, but really it's just about like, what is the Timesuck community curious about? What do people want to learn about? And we it tends to be kind of a little darker, but not always. Often historical, and then sometimes a little socially relevant. It's just I wish I could give this like great succinct answer.
There isn't one. There can't be. No, it's everything. So your research is insane, though. So what does the research process for you look like when you make these like almost sometimes 3-hour long episodes? It's getting that the more info you get in there. How does your research process look?
It's changed a lot since the beginning. I mean, initially the first few episodes were like half an hour long. That was like 4 years ago, and then I just started going more and more in depth. For a long time, it was just me. It was, 40 hours a week, probably per episode, of just preparing kind of all the research to record. And then a year and a half ago, I got somebody in-house. Actually 6 months, 12 months in, I started to have some people help a little bit. Like they would kind of take a stab at the initial research, then I would change it quite a bit, add quite a bit to it. Then we got an in-house person, Zach Flannery, and then he started spending about 30, 40 hours a week doing the initial research. I would spend another 20 to 25 going over it again to have it be more thorough. And then actually, maybe 2 months ago, we hired another full-time researcher, Sophie Evans, who now it's Zach does 30, 40 hours. Sophie does another 20, 30 hours. And then I do another probably 20, 25 hours.
So that's like so much for like one episode. Holy, okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you have a favorite episode that you've ever done, or do you love them all like children?
Yeah, they're all so different. I mean, I'll forget about one. It's like I just remembered recently, like the Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
It was kind of an earlier episode, but it's still one of my favorites. There's never really just like one that jumps out. It'll change, but God, the topics are so varied. It's hard to pick.
Yeah.
I might have a favorite cult one, probably like Heaven's Gate was really interesting. Jim Jones was really interesting.
Yeah. Being from Kentucky, originally I had to go with Hatfield McCoy because those are my people. That was a really fun one. Yeah. But yeah, that's awesome. So if you could, this is a more silly question. If you could wine and dine with Lindsay's permission, any type of subject, male or female, who would it be? Who are we rooting for Lucifina to hook you up with here?
Oh man, the list is tough on the Timesuck ones because there's, actually, you know what? I do know actually, Josephine Baker, but I'd have to time travel as well.
Yes,
I'd have to time travel.
That's fine.
But she was a badass. And,
she was, yes. I actually just did one on her too, like a video on her. She's amazing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, really amazing.
Yeah. So, and as you've done research on this, basically, have there been any subjects that you have changed your opinions on, like after you've researched them, the more you've researched them and gotten to know them?
The one that like I overreached, admittedly, like we worked so hard on it, and I knew I wouldn't be happy no matter what with the end result, and I wasn't totally. Was a recent one, American riots. It is such a complicated issue.
I thought it was great, but yeah, it is so complicated. Like, but I thought
very emotional.
Well, yeah.
Woo. Oh, thanks. Yeah, those ones are tough. Where, whenever there's kind of like a social justice, I guess, kind of angle, in the history of the message, it's so tricky to kind of like to deliver the information in a way that's entertaining and also isn't going to, frankly, just like, irrationally trigger people.
Yeah.
And that's 2020, it's gotten harder and harder to do that on certain subjects, because you have to avoid referencing certain sources, because people will see the source as being conservative or liberal and immediately write it off. Or if you use certain kind of like just, basic words that I would have never thought about even in 2019 or 2018, so many things have been politicized that it gets hard to even do a historical topic sometimes, because so many people they hear one word they don't like, and then they discount anything you have to say going forward.
Yeah.
It's
a rough time. Yeah, it's a rough time to do content, especially content with like controversy involved. And I'm a journalist, so I know it's a rough. You gotta tread the line carefully. I get it, but I thought it was a great episode.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. That's good. Yeah, I mean, and I did like it. I mean, I thought that, people can debate certain aspects of it until the end of time, but hopefully most people got that the message was a positive one of not discounting, any side of that issue, but sometimes, I worry that are we being distracted by one aspect of a much larger, much more complex puzzle, that if we don't solve the whole thing or try to, working on this one kind of aspect of it is ultimately going to be pretty futile. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels futile for sure. But I mean, hopefully like these conversations can chip away at that. And I think you're doing with that. So thank you so much for talking to me. There's a bunch of fans on my TikTok channel, so they're very excited. I was like, I'm get to read the Suck Master. So they're coming by to watch this later. Appreciate you. So thank you so much. And thank Lindsay for answering my email. So I appreciate you, Dan.
Yeah, well, congratulations, Melissa. Truly, like, you're doing really cool stuff. And I mean, to have a historical, channel take off on TikTok, I think is really admirable and just really cool. And I wish you all the success. I hope it just continues to build and build and build.
Thanks. Me too. Maybe keep the trolls away, but thank you so much. Appreciate you, Dan.
Thanks, Melissa.
Bye. See ya.